Let me tell you, this one made me work for my money. Okay, I don't get any money, but if I did, this one put me through the ringer. I spent hours and hours and I almost put it to the side, because sometimes I have to do that if I just can't find the story. I almost gave up. But it feels good when my persistence cracks a case. So let me share what I found on this episode of Antique Bottle Stories. So I started by searching the internet. Sometimes someone has a write-up, or maybe there's a name I can go on. Nobody had anything that I could see. So next, I tried the newspapers. I searched the company, and I hope that maybe it's in the paper somewhere, lists a president, stuff like that. Stuff like this doesn't help. Next, I thought I'd search Dr. Ellis in the paper, and I did find one. I followed him around for a little while, but it wasn't the right Dr. Ellis. So I thought, well, let me go search in the city directory. I started all the way back in 1865. I skipped every 5 years. I took a couple hours doing this. Then I finally got to 1934. 1934 is the first time I see this company listed in the directory. I kept going, and just to see how long it stays in the directory, and the last one is listed in 1952, so a little over 20 years. So I went back to the first one. The guy listed as president is a Dr. Luther Ellis Glasgow. What? Now, how was I ever going to find this guy when his first name or his last name is not Ellis? Okay, so now that we know that this guy's a big pain in the butt, let's go ahead and figure out his story. Dr. Luther Ellis Glasgow was born in 1878 in Pennsylvania. I briefly researched his ancestry because I noticed that his name is Glasgow, and in his obituary it says that he was born in Glasgow, Pennsylvania. So I wondered if the town was named after his family. So I went back a few generations, and it looks like his family came over from Glasgow, Scotland in 1781. Interesting. Then I looked it up on Wikipedia, and it says that Glasgow, Pennsylvania is named after Glasgow, Scotland. Well, I think there's probably more there, but that's all I got for that. And I know way back, family names were sometimes derived from the town that they were from. So after they arrived in Pennsylvania, did they name the town after themselves because maybe they were one of the first settlers? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. So back to the story. I guess Luther Ellis Glasgow didn't really go by Luther. His parents probably called him Ellis. We see here in the 1900 census when he's 21, he's listed as Ellis L. Anyways, he went to med school right out of high school, and he graduated from Jefferson Medical School in Philadelphia in 1902 when he was 24. His obituary says that he formed the Dr. Ellis Sales Company in 1931 when he was 53. This was a cosmetics company. Now, I'm not sure exactly what he started up his business selling, but if I was to guess, I would think it's these hair products. Now, let's talk about my bottle for a minute. It says Quick Dry Waving Fluid, Dr. Ellis Sales Company Incorporated, Distributors, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The other side says Dr. Ellis Wave Set. It's an Art Deco type bottle. It's machine made, screw top. The mouth of the bottle is wide to accommodate you dipping your comb inside. I found some other examples online. There's apparently one bottle design in which it actually depicts a comb being dipped in the bottle. And you can see "dip the comb in the bottle" clearly written on this one. Okay, let's keep going. So 2 years after starting his cosmetic business, during the Great Depression, here in 1933 it says, "A movement to provide entertainment for unemployed in Pittsburgh and nearby communities has been started by Dr. Ellis Glasgow in cooperation with welfare agencies. He purchased a specially designed motor trailer which he will use in transporting radio and stage performers to community halls. The entertainers will be donating their services, and Dr. Glasgow will furnish the trailer free so that the unemployed may have amusements they otherwise couldn't afford." He's quoted as saying, "These people are desperately in need of something to take their minds, even for a little while, from the fact that there is no money for rent, the house is cold, and Dad will be coming home from another hopeless job search." Well, that's really nice of him, isn't it? So here's 1934. The address says 600 2nd Avenue in Pittsburgh. They were on the 9th floor. And to my surprise, the building is still standing. It's pretty awesome. It looks like there's 12 floors and possibly a basement. Here's 1934 also. In January, Dr. Ellis and 3 other passengers were in a plane headed from Pittsburgh to Miami. It says they were forced to land in a cornfield in Kentucky due to poor visibility, but it sounds like everyone was okay. A few years after starting up the company, here's a full-page ad in a magazine from 1935. It says that they have 2 locations, Pittsburgh and Toronto. There's multiple products listed on here, including the bottle with the comb design in the center of the page. That's our waving fluid. There's also a bottle of nail polish at the top of the page. There's also a bottle of brilliantine. Next, there's a bottle of cuticle oil and nail polish remover. And at the bottom, there's Dr. Ellis liquefying cleansing cream. Now, I wanted to know what waving fluid meant. So I looked around and I found some 1930s hairstyles, and there's lots of this style of waving the hair. So this fluid must have helped hold it in place, kind of like hairspray. But what about brilliantine? Well, I found several brands that sold brilliantine, and this one's from a different company, but it looks like maybe the male version of the wave fluid. Apparently it helped the hair stay in place. This other one says that it keeps hair smooth and glossy. So I wonder if that's where Brill cream comes from. Now, I've heard of that one. Anyways, so let me show you this really weird article. It's in 1935. It says, Dr. Glasgow was held for court on assault and battery charges, filed by a Mrs. Bartolotto yesterday. She's the operator of North Braddock Trucking Company. Miss Bartolotto said the doctor grabbed her by the throat and threw her into a chair when she went to his office to collect $1,200 trucking bill from him. The doctor said that her bill was incorrect and that he only grabbed her when she was about to hit him with a bottle of his wave set. It says the doctor's bond was set at $500. But if you ask me, she looks like she could take him. Now we're up to the next year, 1936. Well, in October, Dr. Ellis died. He's only 58 years old. Now, I found his death certificate, and he died from a hemorrhage due to liver cirrhosis. It also lists alcoholism as a contributing factor. He left behind 2 sons, and it doesn't look like either one of his sons took over the business. In 1938, just 2 years after he died, there's a guy named Harold Troxell running the company, and a guy named John Magnuson is vice president. And 2 years later, Magnuson is the president and Troxell is the vice president. I thought this was funny. 1940, a wanted ad for an attractive person for cosmetic concern, age 19 to 30. They also moved. 158 49th Street now, which is probably this building. So here's a 1941 ad in a magazine, some new shades of nail polish, and here in 1945, they've got a listing for a new vegetable oil shampoo. And like I said, in 1952 is the last listing that I found for the company in the directory. But I did find that the trademark office still had a listing for them in 1958. So I'm not sure where they are now, but this says that the company is still active. I don't have any other information other than this right here. In 1968, though, Dr. Ellis's sister, Sarah, died, and in her obituary it says that she had been vice president of the FEI Corporation and the Dr. Ellis Sales Corporation. So it doesn't say how long that she was, but it words the Dr. Ellis Sales Company as former cosmetic manufacturers and distributors. So as far as dating these bottles, this design is 1935, but I don't have any more pictures with a date on it. So I'm not sure of mine, but this might be more 40s into the 50s because the font looks 50s to me. Now this one, I would venture, looks more 60s to me. And it looks like this company was in business for about 30-ish years. And I think that's all I've got for today, guys. I'm glad that I finally got this one cracked and that we did find the story for it. And I have a little bucket of bottles that won't give up their story yet, but one day I will get them. They can only hold on to their secrets for so long. Well, I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.